The first buildings of the Sparrows Point steel mill were constructed in 1887. The existence of the Sparrows Point steel mill ultimately formed and flourished the Sparrows Point town, which included houses for the workers, its own police force, fire department, schools, churches, a bowling alley, and cinema, along with many other amenities. During the 1950s, Sparrows Point was the largest steel producing plant in the world, having built ships used in the World Wars, parts of the Empire State Building, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. The Sparrows Point Steel Mill was a significant component of the occupational and industrial story of Baltimore, the Mid-Atlantic region, and far beyond. The mill employed roughly 31,000 steelworkers and associated personnel, but unfortunately, in 2001, Bethlehem Steel went bankrupt, impacting the workforce, which diminished to roughly 2,000 personnel at its end. While parts of the mill are still currently being sold, dismantled, and shipped to other industrial plants, the surrounding region is economically suffering, but the significance, values, memories, and stories of Sparrows Point Mill still live on. My first question for you is, around what time frame did you work at Bethlehem Steel?
I started working there in July of 1996. When I worked there, there was approximately 2,500 workers employed there. Back in the early 50s and 60s, there was many as 30-some thousand employees.
Okay. And was it difficult to obtain a position there?
Not really. In the earlier days, if you had a relative that worked there, you're almost a given to receive the job, as long as you could just pass a physical test and basic reading and writing test.
Gotcha. And what were your basic responsibilities?
My responsibilities, I was part of a 3-person crew. We repaired all the industrial machinery in our part of the plant. My plant that I worked in was considered a finishing side. They had steel making side. They had all kind of different areas, but mine was the finishing side. And we took care of all the production machinery.
Okay. And let's see here. Can you describe how the work environment was? Like, was it more chaotic or relaxed, or more females than males?
I would say it was definitely more males. The department I was in was the mechanical department. There was a few female mechanics. It was a nice atmosphere because everybody worked together. We got along. The conditions there in different parts of the area that we worked in, you ran hazardous chemicals and materials. You always had to keep your eyes open and watch for everything because there were big industrial tractors, overhead cranes that were constantly moving, and the slightest mistake, it could kill you.
Right. Whoa. Okay. And did you consider working there a positive or negative experience?
I consider it a positive experience. It was a well-paying job, good benefits. Would have been good retirement, but as everybody knows, they went bankrupt and went out of business.
Well, that's my next question was, were you there when they closed? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
I was there when it was originally called Bethlehem Steel. Then it was sold, went bankrupt, and it became U.S.G. Then it was sold again to Middle Steel. That was a company in India. And then it was sold again to RG Steel. And then it was sold to Everstall. So, I mean, it was like 5 different companies that had bought us.
Right. The closing, did that affect you, like, in a strong way? Did it have, like, a strong impact on you, or were you able to find work quickly after they closed?
Well, actually, it took me almost 1.5 years to find another decent paying job. At that time, since we completely closed down, the government funded us to go to school.
Oh, okay.
So I went back to college to finish up a degree in HVAC that I had originally done before I went to Bethlehem Steel.
Oh, okay. That sounds good. And that's what was my next question. What did you do after they closed?
After I closed, I was like a full-time student in college. I was working on an associate degree. I didn't get to finish it because Amtrak had called me. I put an application in.
So you've basically been there since.
Right, and as soon as they called me for a job interview, I went for that, and then I was hired. So I had my last 2 classes. I had to drop out. So I'm now doing it online. So
Oh, okay.
I have one more class to do.
All right, well,
to
you
get
almost
that.
said.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was all my questions.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
thank you. The Bethlehem Steel Mill has suffered through one of the worst steel markets in history, which has caused many individuals, such as Mr. James Clark, the gentleman we interviewed, to start all over when they in fact saw themselves working somewhere they hope to someday retire from. Although some still fight and hope that the Bethlehem Steel Mill will someday be the same strong company it once was, economics will ultimately win, and Southeast Baltimore County will have to adjust to a brave new world without the good old mill.